So, throughout the course of this class, it became widely evident that the media's representation of a specific population and how the portrayal affects them is critical to succeed in this subject. With this knowledge, I knew our project needed that specific population. Rather than start with representation, however, I worked backwards by getting my story arc solidified, then once that is done, I see how a population could be incorporated. By the time the plot for my group's film UNLACED was in its early stages, it was obvious what the movie needed. It is because of this I hesitantly utilized an in-the-closet homosexual. Now I say hesitantly because this topic is sensitive for a few reasons. One roots from the evidently inaccurate portrayal of homosexual characters as either deviants, flamboyant punchlines, or just the butt end of a joke. Another comes from the fact that an estimated 26% of men and 23% of women are homosexual, according to a poll done by Jennifer Robison at the Gallup. This means a fourth of the population will be watching intently, waiting for a filmmaker to either offend them or their culture. However, we felt we were competent enough after research to convey an unoffensive gay character. This movie highlights a key component in the fight for worldwide acceptance of homosexuals. It emphasizes that even if one is head over heels in love, there will always be more than one reason to conceal one's true sexual orientation. And this is a sad truth, because whether someone has a religious family, fear of ridicule, or just denial, one can always find a way to stay hidden, which is ultimately detrimental for a person's well-being and prosperous life. This movie introduction engages with our young adult target audience quite simply by presenting them with a realistic and perhaps relatable story. The use of young adult talent also establishes an immediate connection with audiences, because who can you relate to more than someone just like you? Another major element of engagement is found in the way our story arc works. We have a situation we do not fully grasp laid in front of us. Then we are told that this one person has all the answers. Now, I believe that audiences' jealousy for information prompts them to continue onward with the story, even if it's not too compelling. When it comes to distributing, my group released our trailer on YouTube and have plans to release it at a select amount of theaters, being independent and not able to afford nationwide coverage. DVD and Blu-ray releases will then follow. Now, while I do not feel as if my production skills were intensified greatly during this project, I can safely say it was something I hadn't done before. This project granted us more creative freedom than previously granted, letting us completely develop an entire film from scratch, and that is unique. Past that, however, making this project and putting it all together definitely made me feel more adroit at filmmaking. I also feel as if the year of projects preceding this final were exceptional ways to prepare. This is because of the storyboarding we did, or the shots we gathered as novices, or perhaps the sloppy editing we hastily tried mastering before deadline. Moving on, certain technologies were employed to create a final product. These technologies vary from a highly advanced computer editing software to a measly chair used as a dolly. Now for the filming portion, my group used an iPhone 7 due to a lack of a more appropriate camera. And without a tripod, we decided to film handheld. This took practice and a couple reshoots to perfect, but eventually we had smooth and flowing shots. On top of that, we edited using a software called Adobe Premiere Pro, and I made the sound elements present in a producing software called FL Studios, you can see here. That about sums up our use of technology without getting too in-depth. Now for the analyzing of the introduction. Alright. So the film begins and we are shown calm, collective, peaceful shots of a park. This tone is immediately juxtaposed with an irrational, all-over-the-place, angry main character. A mysterious shot of an untied shoe is alone in a field. This is accompanied by a backwards piano key heard here. This has been famously used in media products to add an eerie enigma. This also appears to serve as a sound motif throughout the introduction. A quick cut to a descending pan introduces audiences to our three friendly main characters. Here we see our main character Brennan shown secluded in the back seat of the car, where the music seems to be drowned out, symbolizing the character's different mood at the moment. Next, we see the car of friends pull up to a house. The only taillight functioning is on the side Brennan is sitting on. Being paired with a bright red light emphasizes his anger. Now, while this was not done on purpose, obviously, I think it fits quite well. Next, we see the two friends leave the car, as Brennan follows shortly behind, once again establishing this separation of mood by a literal separation of space. Next, we see Pablo and Franklin vocalize their worries about Brennan, making it apparent he isn't just in a bad mood because he dropped his ice cream. There's a reason for his contempt. The scene moves on and we see an argument unfold between Pablo and Brennan. This is then paired with This is then paired with a voiceover accompanied by a shot of the dead friend Leo. Here we are reintroduced to the backwards piano keys, except now they are more abundant, creating an ominous feeling. Next, audiences see Brennan walk out of Pablo's house saying, "I'm head home." Low-key lighting adds to the tone. Finally, we see Brennan walk into his room. A pan follows him to the corner of his bed where he removes a picture frame. He takes the frame and glares at it, reminiscing. We can assume it is a picture of Leo and his friends. He then hurls the picture frame at the wall, revealing our title screen along with a loud shatter. "Unlaced" is shown in bold red letters, stressing the dark tone once again. A few more backwards piano keys are heard, and the film cuts to black. Thank you for listening to my critical reflection. I am junior filmmaker Austin Dunne, and I hope to see you at the movies.